What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys with a very sweet and delicious treat for you all. It is my next archetype video, and it happens to be about one of the most adorable archetypes I can possibly have in this game. We are talking about Madolches. If the enthusiasm from my voice did not sound enthusiastic enough about this deck is one of my little prized possessions because I love this deck. It's so cool and it's so adorable, and it just gives me hunger pains because every monster in this archetype is based off of a delicious treat or a delicious pastry, and it is so cool of this artwork. This artwork is awesome. Luckily enough, none of the monsters in this archetype have been censored, so we even get to show them off. This is honestly, like I said, one of my favorites because it's everything that can be cute, and it's cute. It is just so adorable. So I'm gonna have fun with this video, and I hope you guys enjoy this video as well. So the Madolche archetype was first introduced in the set known as Return of the Duelist. This was the second set within the second year that followed through the Exceed archetypes from Zexal in the Zexal series when it came to the TCG. It was featured on Swells and the OCG, but you know the OCG and TCG has their spread between a good 3 to 4 years 3 to 4 months when it comes to sets. The Madolche archetype itself is all Earth attributed monsters, and the main deck monsters have a unique ability is that when they are sent to the graveyard, either by your opponent's card effect or battle, they are sent back to the deck and then shuffled into the deck. So that way, you have a lot of effects going on that correspond with that effect. It is so amazing. The other thing about the Madolches is their name. The name of Madolche is shortened for Magical Doll Treats. And I want to actually show off one of the cards, Madolche Knights. As you can see here, Madolche Knights has five Madolche monsters. I think 4 actually, in this artwork that are shown with a weird glowing light surrounding them. And funny enough, this is a bedroom of some child, and it has the Madolche monsters literally just scattered everywhere like toys, which gives them that name. Now, the other part of their name is Dolce, which of course is translated to treats. Now, treats, of course, sweets and pastries and all of that will be talked about in this video, because that's also another thing about those Dolces is on their card artwork, they each have various little desserts and snacks that are under them as shape of jigsaw puzzles. It really gives this adorable outlook to them, and part of the reason why I do adore this archetype. And this archetype even extends into the Link era because it has its own Link monster and a couple of more supporting cards. So I cannot wait. Let's get into the first monster. And the first monster is Madolche Bapple. This level 3 Earth attribute beast type monster has 0 attack and 1800 defense. Its effect is once a turn, you can target one attack position Madolche monster you control and one face-up attack position monster your opponent controls. Both of those monsters, while they're still in the field, are changed into defense position. And if they are, they cannot have their battle position changed by any other effects, and can only be changed back into another battle position and at the end of your opponent's next turn. So the crazy thing about Madolche Bapple is based off of maple, which is of course is the syrup in the flavor that you get on a lot of things that deal with breakfast. Also, the bat part of its name is actually derived from the sound of a sheep. I don't know how you correspond these two. I guess one is tasty while the other one is adorable and sweet and soft. So you combine the two there. And there's a lot of things about sheeps that just have to do with their cuteness and how they have a bit of sense of calming to them in terms of that. Now we go on to the next monster, and that is Madolche Mufilo. This level 3 Earth attribute beast type monster with 500 attack, 300 defense. Its effect is when this card is normal summon, you can start summoning one Madolche monster from your hand. This cute little adorable kitten name is based off of Philo Joe, which is known for pastries, as it puffs up and gets really, really nice and crisp when it puffs up. And you can stuff this thing with practically anything you possibly can think of. I've seen chocolate, I've seen jellies, I've seen fruits, I've seen it all with Philo Dough, and it is an amazing and yet a difficult thing to work with. but overall, it makes some of the most delicious pastries you could possibly imagine. Next up is the cute and adorable Madolche Chocolates. Level 3 Earth Attribute Beast type monster with 800 attack, 1500 defense. So once a turn, when the battle position of a Madolche monster or monsters you control is changed and is now face up, when this card is face up on your field, it's like during the damage step, you can target one monster on the field and change it to face up defense position. And if you do, unless it's a Madolche monster, it can attack and its effects are negated. So this little stun card is actually a combination of cute little adorable chicks that go cheat, and you have chocolates. Yes, chocolate. One of my favorite sweets ever is chocolate, and these little things are actually based off of chocolate chips. There's a bit of a pool of chocolate covering a cute little chocolate cake that they're sitting on. And actually, you'll see these monsters in the next beast type monster coming up, which is Madolche Hoot Cake. So the little chocolates are actually one of the chocolate monsters is featured here on Hoot Cake, who is a level 3 Earth Attribute Beast type monster with 1500 attack, 1100 defense. And this monster effect is you can banish one monster in your graveyard. And if you do, special summon one Madolche monster from your deck except for Madolche Hoot Cake. You only use this effect of Madolche Hoot Cake once per turn. So this owl is actually based off of a hoot cake. So the sound hoot is what, of course, owls make, which can lead to a lot of hilarious things with these birdies. But it also has a ton of cakes in its artwork, mainly hoe cakes. If you don't know what a hoe cake is, it's pretty much like a pancake, but it's a lot more thicker, and it's made from a different material of a different bit of. It's mainly made with cornmeal, as opposed of a pancake, which is made from with flour. Both are delicious, by the way, because if you see the Madolche Bapple's artwork, that is a pancake, and in Hoot Cake's artwork is a hoe cake. Now we move on to the next of the last of the level 3 Madolche monsters. It is Madolche Croissants. This level 3 Earth Attribute Beast type monster, 1500 attack, 1200 defense, has the effect of you can target one face-up monster on the one face-up Madolche card you control, except this card, and return it to hand. And if you do, increase this monster's level by 1 and its attack by 300. So Madolche Croissant is a weird combination here. It's actually based off of toast and crescents. Yes, so this is actually based off of bread that you can easily put jams and jellies on, and it makes the sound rough, which is a sound dogs make. And this cute little adorable puppy can also be seen in some artworks as well of the Madolche archetype. It's just so cute. Look how adorable it is with its little top hat. Okay, so now we move on from the level 3 monsters. We go straight into the level 4s. And we started off with Madolche Butler Rusk. This level 4 Earth Attribute Spellcaster type monster with 1500 attack, 800 defense. And his effect is, when this card is normal summon, you can add one field spell card from your deck to your hand. You must have another face-up Madolche monster on the field in order to activate and resolve this effect. This monster is, of course, based off of butter. And, of course, there are many things that are just delicious that are made with butter. I mean, practically any dessert you can think of can be based off of butter, unless it's something fruit-based that can just be made by itself. But butter is, of course, the signature thing of Madolche Butler-esque, and he's actually sitting on a jigsaw puzzle made of waffles. And waffles, oh, they're so good. Alright, now we move on to my girl Madolche Marmalade. She's a level 4 Earth Attribute Spellcaster type monster as well. 800 attack, 2000 defense, I'm sorry. And her effect is when this card is flipped face up, you can target one Madolche spell trap card in your graveyard and add that target to your hand. So Madolche Marmalade is based off of Marmalade, which is a orange or tangerine based jam. It's actually really good. If you try, you guys should really try it. It's really, really good. It has a really sweet taste to it. And you also be used in a savory setup as well. She's sitting on a cookie that is actually based with marmalade, and you'd actually use jams like this with cheese and cheese plates as well. It's very creative with these monsters. She also is featured on some artwork, but I'll get to those when we see them. Next up is actually not Madolche Angeli, but Madolche Magellan. She's a level 4 Earth Attribute Spellcaster type monster with 1400 attack, 1200 defense. And her effect is when this card is normal or flip summon, you can add one Madolche monster from your deck to your hand. This cute little adorable lady is the searcher of the Madolche archetype. And unlike Shadows, she can only do it when she's no more flip summon. But this monster is based off of the Madeline cookies. As you can see in her staff, which is made of a fork with cream and has Madeleines on it with berries around it. The Madeline is a soft little shortbread cookie that comes in the shape of a sheath that looks like a seashell, and it's really, really good. Oh, I've had them covered in chocolate. I've had them covered in strawberries. Oh, it's just so good, and it's so soft and delicious. This lovely, adorable monster is featured on the Madolche card as well, and we'll see it very soon. But she is one of the last of the spellcasters in the main deck as we go on to the warriors in the archetype. And we start off with one of my favorite warriors, Madolche Messengelato, level 4 Earth Attribute Warrior type monster with 1600 attack, 1000 defense. And his effect is when this card is special summon, you can add one Madolche spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. You must control a beast type Madolche monster in order to activate and resolve this effect. So the Messengelato is based off of a gelato, which is ice cream. Yes, I love ice cream, and ice cream is the basis for this. But ice cream, honestly, as opposed to gelato, is a lot denser and doesn't have as much of a heaviness that gelato has. Gelato is a lot thicker. It has a lot more. I believe it has a lot less air incorporated or more air incorporated to it, but it's really, really thick and it's really, really good. And of course, you can see it actually in Messagelato's artwork as he has strawberry and a citrus-based gelato in his artwork. And he's also featured in one particular card, which we'll see later on. Next up is the Madolche Knight himself, Madolche Choco Chevalier, a level 4 Earth Attribute warrior type monster with 1700 attack, 1300 defense. Your opponent cannot target face-up Madolche monsters you control for attacks except for Madolche Chevalier. Choco Chevalier. So Choco Chevalier is a chevalier who is based off of some chocolate sweets. More some chocolate desserts, as he has a chocolate cookie he's standing on. His horse is what appears to be peppermint based, or in the green colors of peppermint. So be like a chocolate peppermint patty, or a chocolate chip, or a mint chocolate type cookie. And he also has some cookies and chocolates surrounding him. The Choco Chevalier, of course, is a very defensive monster, but he's also featured in some other Madolche cards, which, like I said about the others, we'll get into soon. Now that we've finished with all the warriors, we can now talk about all the fairy type Madolches. And these monsters will have some cards, will have one particular card based on their existence being on the board. So first up is Madolche Angeli, level 4 Earth Attribute Fairy type monster, 1000 attack, 1000 defense. Her effect is you contribute this card to summon one Madolche monster from your deck and to the field. But during the end phase of the next turn, it is shuffled back into the deck. You can only use this effect of Madolche Angeli once per turn. The substance of the monster cannot be destroyed by battle. So Madolche Angeli is based off of jelly with her angelic look. She was actually not altered in the OCG or TCG for that matter, as her look is supposed to be based off of an angel. And a cute, adorable angel, as she was the first level 4 Madolche monster to be fairy in the main deck and help really support a lot of the other effects of some of the Madolche monsters and cards. Next up is Madolche Princessa, who will lead us into her big sister in just a moment. But Madolche Princessa is level 4 Earth Attribute, 1400 attack and defense fairy type monster. And her text reads, you can use each of the effects of Madolche Princessa once per turn. And the following effects are: if you have no monsters in your graveyard, you can summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summon, you can summon one Madolche monster from your hand or deck except for Madolche Princessa into the field. And if you do, reduce that monster's level by 1, and you can access the summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except for Madolche monsters. So although she locks you into Madolche monsters for their special summons, trust me, this archetype has a ton of support for that. But she and her big sister are based off of pudding. And crazy enough, this leads us into the next monster and the biggest monster of the archetype in general. This is Madolche Pudding Cess, known in the OCG as Madolche Pudding Cess Pudding Cess. This is the Princess Pudding Cess. This is the level 5 Earth attribute fairy type monster with 1000 attack, 1000 defense. And her attacks reads, when this card battles an opponent's monster after damage calculation, target one card on the field and destroy it. One card your opponent controls and destroy it. While you have no monsters in your graveyard, this monster gains 800 attack and defense. So, the difficult things about this beautiful princess, well, let's talk about her in general. She is based off of pudding. She has tons of puddings and pudding desserts around her, just like her little sister, Madolche Pudding Cesser. Because Pudding Cesser is actually a derivative in French, meaning successor to the princess, little sister. And funny enough, little sister is actually what she is, because her big sister is Pudding Cess and gives her access to being a level 4 monster. Sadly enough, they don't have her with the card effects of she's treated as Madolche Pudding Cess, which would be great in this sense, because it would mean we didn't have to run Pudding Cess. But Pudding Cess is not a bad monster, it's just she's a tribute monster. And unless you're summoning her off of card effects like Madolche Hoot Cake, Madolche Mageline, and some other, Madolche Leafy Love, and some other card effects, you really don't have to, you're really going to have to tribute for this monster. But for the most part, she has a great setup for herself, as she can just, if she battles an opponent's monster, win or lose, she's going to take a card out that your opponent controls. And I've gotten over some pretty amounts of Stardust Dragons thanks to this little princess. The funny thing about this princess, of course, is that she is, where are we at in time? 16 minutes? Okay, good. We have enough time. The thing about this monster, although she is the only tribute monster in the archetype, she was the first fairy, and it took a while to get a main deck fairy to where we could utilize a lot of the other cards effects in the main deck. Especially that involved fairy type Madolche monsters. So that would be done with the main deck. I would go straight to the extra, but I'm going to leave that a little later because we need to go through these chapters and spells. So there's only 2 spell cards for the Madolche archetype, and the first one is Madolche Chateau. Field spell card. It is card activated. You can shuffle all Madolche monsters in your graveyard back into your deck. All Madolche monsters on the field gain 500 attack and defense. If a monster or monsters you control would be returned to the deck by the effects of a Madolche monster, you can add them to your hand. This card features the monsters Madolche Mageline, Madolche Choco Chevalier, and Madolche Bapple of Nufilo as they're sitting there in the corner. This is, of course, the Kingdom to the Madolche archetype. Next up is the Madolche Ticket. Continuous spell card effect. When a Madolche card or cards is returned from your side of the field or to the graveyard, to the main deck or hand, you can, by a card effect, you can add 1 Madolche monster from your deck to your hand. If you control a fairy type Madolche monster, you can special summon the target from your hand defensive attack position. You summon the target that, you can special summon that target to the field in defensive attack position, instead of adding it to your hand. You can only use the effect of Madolche Ticket once per turn. This card is the one that really utilized Madolche fairy type monsters, as you needed a fairy to trigger the special summon effect. As you can see here in the artwork, you have Madolche Messengelato and Madolche Queen Tiramisu giving the ticket to Messengelato, who I'm basically sure is just inviting people over for a tea party. Next up is the trap cards. We're going to start off with Madolche Lesson. This is a normal trap card. In its effect is target 1 Madolche monster in your graveyard, shuffle that target back into your deck. And if you do, all Madolche monsters you control gain 800 attack and defense. When you shuffle, then you can shuffle 1 other monster in your graveyard back into your deck. The monster in this artwork is Madolche Butler-esque, as he is reading a book that is presumably Madolche Marmalade's book, or this could actually be Madolche Marmalade teaching Madolche Pudding Cess about cutlery and various things about etiquette. Next up is the Madolche Waltz, this continuous trap card. effect says every time a Madolche monster you control attacks or is attacked, add a damage calculation and inflict 300 points of damage to your opponent. Madolche Pudding Cess and Madolche Choco Chevalier are featured here in the artworks of this card. Next is Madolche T Break counter trap card effect. When a trap or spell is activated and you control no monsters in your graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, return it to the hand. Then, if you control one face-up Madolche Pudding Cess, you can destroy one card your opponent controls. So you need a Pudding Cess in order for its additional effect, which is to destroy something your opponent controls. Other than that, Madolche T Break has the ability to negate something but send it back to the hand, which can be a problem because if it's a spell card, they can just reuse it. The thing about this artwork, of course, is that it's featuring Madolche Butleress, Madolche Pudding Cess, and Madolche Madolche. The next card is the other counter trap, which is Madolche Knight. When a monster effect is activated and you control a monster in your graveyard, you can negate the activation. And if you control a Madolche Pudding Cess, you shuffle one card your opponent controls back into their hand. So it doesn't destroy, but it does negate, which does help in that sense. And of course, this card features the monsters Madolche Pudding Cess, Madolche Madolche, Madolche Chevalier, and Madolche Mufilo in its artwork. Now, but last but not least of all the cards in the main deck, we have Madolche Palooza, known in the OCG, and it's probably the only OCG name that I know for the Madolche monsters, is Madolche Palooza, being known as Madolche Happy Festiva. This card's effect is to summon as many Madolche monsters from your hand to the field, but shuffle them back into the deck during the end phase. This card features, of course, Madolche Choco Chevalier, Madolche Croissant, Madolche Mufilo, Madolche Madolche, Madolche Marmalade, Madolche Butleress, Madolche Pudding Cess, and Madolche Queen Tiara Misu in its artwork. And it is, of course, the biggest card of them all because it's their massive special summon card. Next up is the extra deck monsters for the Madolche Archetype, and we have to start off with the queen of the Archetype herself, Madolche Queen Tiara Misu. Rank 4 Earth Attribute Fairy type monster. 2200 attacks, 2100 defense. Needs 2 level 4 Madolche monsters for X7. Once a turn, you can attach material from this card. Target up to 2 Madolche cards in your graveyard. Shuffle those cards into your deck. If you do after that, you can shuffle cards your opponent controls back into their deck up to the number of Madolche cards you return. This lovely lady is, of course, based off of tiramisu, which is a nice dessert that is made of cookies and whipped cream and coffee, and it's just very delicious. This lovely lady also has the tiramisu at the bottom of her, and it has some of the cute little woodland creatures obeying her orders. You can see her, of course, in the artwork of Madolche Ticket and Madolche Palooza. Next up is Madolche Chocolate a la Mode, rank 5 Earth Attribute Fairy type monster with 2500 attack, 2200 defense. She needs 2 Earth Attributed level 5 monsters for her Exceed Summon, but you can also Exceed Summon her using a level 4 or lower Madolche Exceed monster you control. Every material that card has is attached to this card. So, her effect is once a turn, you can target one Madolche card in your graveyard, shuffle it into your deck. While this card has Madolche Pudding Cess as Exceed material, when a Madolche card or cards is in your graveyard or shuffle back into the deck, except during the damage step, you can attach material from this card to special summon one Madolche monster from your in face up attack position or face down defense position. So the crazy thing about Madolche Pudding Cess Chocolate a la Mode, she is the highest ranked Madolche monster that you have. She is a pretty much just an upgraded version of Madolche Pudding Cess. Sadly enough, she doesn't have the text of being Madolche Pudding Cess. However, she is her in a chocolate form because she is based off of chocolate pudding. Next up is Madolche Teacher Glace Souffle. She is a rank 4 Earth Attribute Fairy type monster, 1800 attack, 2500 defense. These 2 level 4 Madolche monsters. Quick effect, you detach material from this card. Target one Madolche monster on your field. For this turn, that face up monster is unaffected by other monster effects. And if a Madolche monster is sent to the graveyard while this card is on the field, except during the damage step, you can shuffle up to 2 cards in your graveyard into your deck. You only use each effect of Madolche Teacher Glace Souffle once per turn. So this monster is based off, of course, the delectable dessert souffle. And the glass part of her is actually based off the fact that she's a teacher and she has glasses on. Then the last of the Madolche monsters is Madolche's Fresh Sis Tart, known in the Japanese as Madolche Sis Tart. So the thing about this lovely lady is she is the first Link monster. She's Link 2, bottom left, bottom right. And these two Madolche monsters for her Link summon. She's Earth Attribute Fairy type monster with 1500 attack. If this card points to a Madolche monster, Madolche selling child cards you control can be destroyed by card effect. Also, neither player can target them with card effects, and if this card on the field would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can shuffle one Madolche monster from your graveyard into the deck instead. So because this card is going to send monsters to the graveyard for her Link summon, that gives her at least two protective effects right there. But her main effect, of course, is to protect the spell and trap cards you control as long as a Madolche monster is someone she points to, which is not hard in this deck. She's based off of a nun, also given the term sister. And she is also based off of a tart, as she has fruits from many delectable tarts around her as well. So that's pretty much it for all of the Madolche cards, and I hope you guys do enjoy this Archetype video. I have this uploaded as soon as possible, and I just want to thank you all so much for your support. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, as it helps me out tremendously, and I will catch you guys next time. HPJ signing out. Take care.